皆さん、こんにちは。Hello to my all regular viewers and to everyone who has just found my channel for the first time. はじめまして。一緒に日本語を勉強しましょう。I'm excited to introduce a lesson that we've all been waiting for. Verbs. Verbs add action to our sentences. In this lesson, we'll learn 3 groups of verbs. We will learn how to change them from dictionary form to polite form. I will also explain how to identify the group of each verb. So let's jump right in and get started. Let's begin by looking at a sentence structure containing a verb. In this sentence structure, V represents the verb, and the sentence pattern is xは verb ます。You can insert any verb into the V slot. Now let's compare this sentence structure with the one that we've been using until today's lesson. Do you notice the difference in the sentence ending? A sentence without a verb is ending with des, whereas the sentence with a verb is ending with mas. So you have to choose one or the other. You cannot have both des and mas coexist in one sentence. So for example, if your sentence is 私は食べますです, then there's something wrong with that sentence structure. We'll study 3 verb forms today. The first one is dictionary or plain form. This is the form you find in dictionary entries, which is why it's called a dictionary form. Both dictionary and plain means the same thing. Different textbooks might use one term or the other, but in this lesson, I'll use both terms interchangeably. Next form is polite affirmative form. Sometimes they're called must form. And the last form is polite negative form. Sometimes they are called mustn't form. The polite form is known for being both respectful and safe to use in various situations, which is why it's referred to as the polite form. It is polite enough to use in different settings without worrying about offending anyone or seeming too informal. Today, our focus will be learning how to change dictionary form to polite form. If you have a textbook, please take a moment to look at the new vocabulary list. Some textbooks list new verbs in their dictionary forms, while others list them in polite forms. So let's check how your textbook does it. Go to the verb section in your new vocabulary list and check Ru Verbs. Do the verbs under Ru Verb category end with the hiragana Ru like this, or with mas like this? If it's Ru, they are shown in the dictionary form, and if it's mas, they are in the polite form. Today's lesson aimed to learn how to change verbs from the dictionary form to the polite form. If your textbook lists verbs in the polite form, you don't have to worry about converting them from the dictionary form. You can simply memorize the polite forms and use them in sentences. Then why do many textbooks introduce new verbs in the dictionary form and not polite form? Well, it is because without knowing dictionary forms, you cannot look up words in a dictionary to begin with. But more than that, dictionary form is used in many different sentence structures such as casual speech, making quotations, newspapers or expository writings and so on in Japanese. So knowing the dictionary form is a must-do step for beginners level Japanese. It's a matter of learning it now or later. If you prefer starting with the polite form and then learning the dictionary form later, that is okay too. However, please keep in mind that understanding how to go from the polite form back to the dictionary form can be trickier. So learning to conjugate from dictionary to polite form from the start is helpful in the long run. Let's study how to convert from the dictionary form to the polite form. Interestingly, in Japanese verbs, there's no third-person conjugations, so whether I eat or he eats, it's the same verb form. Also, there's no future tense. The tenses are only present and past. In English, you have 3 tenses. Future tense, I will eat, present tense, I eat, and past tense, I ate. In Japanese, future tense and present tense are the same, 食べます, and we have past tense form, 食べました. In today's lesson, we will learn present tense form only. We're not going to worry about past tense form until later. In Japanese, there are 3 different verb groups: U verb, Ru verb, and irregular verbs, each of which conjugates differently to form polite forms. And this is a quick sneak peek at how they conjugate. Today's task will be to carry out the work in this particular area, where you convert dictionary form into polite affirmative form and polite negative form. Earlier I mentioned that there are 3 distinct verb groups in Japanese: U verb, Ru verb, and irregular verbs. Irregular verbs conjugate without following any specific rules. The good news is there are only 2 irregular verbs in Japanese, suru and kuru. Given that there are only 2, it's practical to memorize their conjugations and efficiently tackle this group. Suru means to do, kuru means to come, and this suru can be combined with certain nouns to produce irregular compound verbs. For example, add the noun 勉強 studying together with this do verb and it means to study. Let's memorize irregular verb conjugations. So to do is, polite affirmative is します. Polite negative is しません. To come is 来る. Affirmative 来ます. Negative 来ません. To study is 勉強する. Affirmative 勉強します. Negative 勉強しません. The ending of this part is the same as these because this is the compound verb using do verb at the end. いいですか? Please memorize this conjugation because there's no rule to follow. You just have to memorize them. Let's do it one more time. I will read plain form. You give me affirmative and negative forms. する します しません 来る 来ます来ません勉強する勉強しません。いいですね。覚えてください。 Once you know polite forms, then you can create sentences. So let's make some Japanese sentences. Yui is coming. How do you say that? Yui-san wa kimasu. And if Yui is not coming, then how do you say that? Yui-san wa kimasen. いいですね。How about this one? Akiko will study. How do you say that in Japanese? Akiko-san wa 勉強します. And Akiko will not study. How do you say this? Akiko-san wa 勉強しません. そうです。Japanese has only two tense, either present future tense or past tense. So this future tense is the same as present tense, which is this one. 勉強します and 勉強しません. Okay then, let's look at Ru verb conjugations. Ru verbs are called Ru verbs because when you look at the plain form, dictionary form, it is ending with hiragana ru. That's why it is called Ru verb. Now, there are some exceptions for that, and I'll talk about that later. Now, let's learn how to make polite form for Ru verb. All you need to do is to drop last ru from the plain form and add either mas for affirmatives and masen for negatives. So, 食べます is a polite affirmative and 食べません is polite negative forms. Let's make some sentences. I eat. How do you say I eat? 私は食べます. And how about I don't eat? How do you say that? 私は食べません. いいですね. Could you make sentences all right? There are more Ru verbs you can learn today, and they are these. 寝る to sleep. To wake up is 起きる. To watch is 見る. They're all ending with hiragana ru, therefore they're Ru verbs. Let's fill this chart with correct polite forms. So, to sleep, 寝る. Please give me the polite form affirmatives. 寝ます negative. 寝ません. How about to wake up? 起きる affirmative. 起きます negative. 起きません. To watch 見る affirmative. Negative 見ません. そうです。いいですね. Are you ready to make some sentences? So the first one, good morning, I get up. How do you say that? おはよう、起きます。私は起きます。You can skip 私は and then just say 起きます as well. How about this one? I eat every day. 毎日食べます。私は毎日食べます。いいですね。It's weekend. The word for weekend is 週末. So please say it's weekend. I don't get up. 週末です。起きません。はい、いいですね。The final verb group is U verb. I've saved this group for last because it demands more attention. So, I hope you're still awake. Let's learn how to make polite form for U verbs. So if you take a look at U verbs, it has this U sound at the end. The verb to go is 行く。行く sound right here. You change that into E sound, which is key sound on K line. And then change that into either must for affirmative or mustn't for negatives. Let me show you a hiragana chart to explain this better. Let's figure out how to make polite form for U verbs. U verbs ending hiragana sits on this U column. And let's take a look at this first verb, 行く, to go. 行く, ku is right here on U column. And then all you need to do is to bring one column up to E sound hiragana. And then add mas for affirmative and masen for negatives. So 行く will be 行きます for affirmative, 行きません for negatives. Let's take a look at another U verb, which is to drink, 飲む. 飲む is right here. Mu is here, so let's make an affirmative polite form out of this. 飲みます and 飲みません would be the polite form. How about this verb? 話す means to speak. Can you figure this out? Please tell me what is the polite form affirmative for this verb. 話す will be 話します or 話しません。そうです。いいですね。Let's do 読む。読む is to read. So again, む is right here. So you'll be 読みます。読みません。How about this verb? 聞く means to listen. Tell me polite form affirmative for this verb. はい、聞きます。And negative is 聞きません。いいですね。Now, how about this one? 帰る。It is ending with Ru verb, so you automatically think it's a Ru verb, but no, this is exceptions. It is ending with Ru, but it has to conjugate just like other U verb because this one is a U verb. This is exceptions, and then when you come across these exceptions, you have to memorize that. So 帰る will be 帰ります and 帰りません for negatives. それでは練習しましょう。I will say a plain form of each verb, so please tell me affirmative and negative form of each verb. So it goes like this. I say 行く, you say 行きます and 行きません. So let's start from this word. Are you ready? 飲む、読む、話す、聞く、帰る。はい、できましたか？それでは、センテンスを作りましょう。The first one. Good morning, I go. 言ってください。おはよう、行きます。Okay, second one. Michiko listens. How do you say this? みちこさんは聞きます。To listen. Okay, last one. Ken doesn't read. How do you say that? ケンさんは読みません。いいですね。You may sometimes have to distinguish between U verb and Ru verb. Now, how do you do that? Well, there's a way to do it, so I will show you how to do it. If the last hiragana character is not Ru, then they're definitely U verb. For instance, 聞く to listen and 飲む to drink are U verbs as they do not end with the hiragana ru. The challenge arises with the verbs that do end in ru, such as ある and 起きる. Despite ending in ru, ある is a U verb, whereas 起きる is a Ru verb. Then how do we know if it's a U verb or Ru verb when they are both ending with hiragana ru? Well, here's the answer. If a verb ending in ru, examine the vowel sound preceding ru. If it is ある, うる, おる, the verb is a U verb. So let me show you the example. The verb to exist is ある. So it is ある. The verb to make is 作る. In Japanese, 作る, うる here at the end. So the preceding vowel is うる for this verb. 取る means to take. 取る, おる. So these three verbs belongs to U verb. Conversely, if the vowel sound is いる or 得る such as 起きる to get up, 起きる or 食べる 得る, they are root verbs. However, there are a few exceptions. In the beginner's level, there are not many exceptions, but you should know that these two words that are exceptions, they are 帰る to return and 入る to enter. Despite 帰る ending in eru, eru, and then seemingly a root verb, it is actually a U verb. Similarly, 入る ends in いる, but it is classified as a U verb. Please remember these exceptions and note that they are U verb. Now that you understand the rules for identifying whether a verb is a Ru verb or an U verb, let's put your knowledge to the test with these verbs. Can you tell me if each verb is an U verb or Ru verb? Let's start from the first one. 書く, it means to write. Is this U or Ru? The answer is U, because the last hiragana letter is not Ru, so it is U verb. How about かぶる? かぶる means to put on something on your head. So, what do you think? This is ending with Ru, but it is U verb because the ending is uru. If the ending is either ある, うる, おる, then they are U verbs. How about next word, 浴びる? 浴びる is actually means to receive something poured from above. So this verb is often used with taking a shower, implying the act of receiving water poured from above. So is this U or Ru? This is Ru verb because the ending is iru, abiru, and they are Ru verb. How about this last one? Kaeru. Is this U or Ru? It is U verb because it is one of those exceptions. It disguises as Ru verb, but it is U verb. Today's video focused on basics of Japanese verbs. You learn how to change dictionary forms into polite forms, and we practice making some simple sentences with verbs. We also discussed the 3 verb groups, helping you how to distinguish between U verbs and Ru verbs. In our next episode, I will introduce particles and will make more complex sentences with verbs. Make sure to catch our next episode to enhance your ability to use verbs in sentences. Don't forget to subscribe to keep improving your Japanese skills. Thanks for watching, and I'm looking forward to see you in our next episode. さよなら。